Hello inline skating maniacs. In this video I've decided to go with a longer format in an attempt to abandon what I've become, a liar. As a videographer and editor, I've been tempted into compiling videos composed mainly of highlights, condensing all footage down to its best pieces and sewing it together with a song. This is probably the best formula for YouTube videos, but it does not really do city skating justice. City skating is not about the tricking. It's about the skating in between. It's adapting to oncoming surfaces and relating one movement pattern to the next. So I plan to shoot more long flow vids when it comes to city skating. In this video, you will see only long continuous takes, switching from head cam to stick cam in real time. When there is a lapse in time, I will fade to black to denote this. I will fade to black at some traffic lights when footage is horrible or when I myself am fading to black. Damn you, Leslieville. In today's drop skate, I've taken the train to Eglinton, or as I like to call it, Egg Beaters, with a plan to skate downtown and then to the beaches. This plan, however, does not hold up under oxygen debt to the brain. So I've just left Egg Beaters now, traveling the road that slants toward downtown Toronto. While the route to downtown Toronto is essentially a long, gentle downhill, there are some difficult parts and some light uphills. I have chosen to use the audio from the stick cam to get better sounds from the road and less heavy breathing from me. I will fade in some of the heavy breathing to give you a clue as to when I'm tired occasionally, but letting this run is just too stressful for the viewer and too embarrassing for me. While I'm happy to take whatever speed I can get, I'm conservative in the knowledge of how long a skate is ahead of me. The first 2/3 of today's skate is entirely new terrain to me. I was very pleased to find a not very busy dual-lane road with near empty sidewalks in the warm-up stage of this new terrain. I've always enjoyed rolling on and off curbs. Since I saw this dude in Miami in 1998 aping it out in the no man's land between road and sidewalk, I've known curbs were just another crack in the road. I also learned the drag stop in Miami, watching rave flyer girls weaving through pedestrians and stopping with ease simply by dragging their back skate. Back here in Toronto, my current focus is on cracks. I've had 2 hamstring tears in 3 years and both were due to cracks, or my inattention to them. Those black putty-filled lengthwise cracks in the road are my biggest concern. In the winter, these cracks are rock solid, so in the spring or summer, I inevitably roll one of these on the first hot day of the year. Once, my front wheel got so wedged in a crack that the front wheel tore off, leaving me only with the axle, a torn hamstring, and a messed up hip joint. If there was one thing about city skating I would like to impart to you, besides stay low, it's that crack kills. Widthwise, they are but a bump. Lengthwise, they are a trap, a rail to ruin. Crack kills. I do not hesitate to roll with traffic when it's needed, but I prefer to be well behind it or well ahead of it. If I can turn on the jets and pull away from traffic, I will, but I'm just as likely to get off the road and stop entirely when I feel like I'm being dragonflied by a hesitant driver. Sidewalks are always made of nice, hard pavement, but I have a rule of never passing a pedestrian on a sidewalk at faster than a jogging pace. Whizzing close to someone, especially from behind, is a slappable offense. It's the kind of thing that makes people hate rollerbladers. I treat pedestrians like the ghosts from Pac-Man, and cars, like the tanks from Tron. Back on the road, you'll notice my stride gets shorter around traffic. I try not to take up any more room than a bike. Toronto drivers are also contending with streetcars, crumbling bridges, sinkholes, falling glass, pedestrians, and bike riders of mixed ability. Assume drivers are terrified of hitting you. To them, inline skaters are no different than unicyclists or pogo stickists. Left to my own devices, I like to roll it all. I look for bumps and slants, rough surfaces, steps, and things to dodge. If I hit every surface, when my line is under control, it gives me the advantage of dealing with situations that have caught me off guard. But more than this, it's when I'm weaving and whizzing past objects that I feel most like I'm flying. Whenever I skated with my hockey player friend Clayton, we inevitably ended each session agreeing that we had just been on the skate of a lifetime. These were always the skates where we looked for the most trouble: stairs, objects, bumps, bad roads. The times we scared ourselves just a little bit, and sometimes a lot. The hum of the wheel and buzz of the road, the sharp floating focus and peripheral blurring of the city when you have no metal contraption below you is a form of bodily freedom which surpasses even skiing for me. I ran as a youth, sometimes from one town to the next. I enjoyed the independent mobility of running, but remember the sore back, even back when I was 13 years old. Now when I run, it just feels so stupid, so slow. When I rode bikes, I felt constantly at the mercy of my fragile, complicated equipment. As you might guess, I was a little hard on my bikes before they were stolen. Riding a bike did not satisfy that part of me that likes to jump and bounce around anyway. But I never owned a real mountain bike, so I imagine that would be different. I have no idea. While I'm showing you long, honest takes in this video, I've singled out my favorite lines and cued the music. These flows are new, and I will likely revisit and build on them in the next few weeks. And here we are in lovely Yorkville for just such an interlude. Hit it. I also used to wear aggressive skates made for tricks, big drops, and grinds. I skated at a skate park called PlayStation in London, England, but found my city sessions with Steve, a guardsman from Buckingham Palace, way more fun. We hit London's weekly group skate and always engaged in a battle of who could clear the biggest flight of steps or jump off the highest object. Fellow skaters cheered our efforts, and Steve ultimately won the war with a leap from the top of a tall red London phone booth. He fractured his foot but landed it cleanly. I attended this group skate from Hyde Park into the city every week for about a year and a half. The terrain beginners and advanced covered on these skates was pretty impressive. London has some very challenging surfaces. If you're ever in London, I highly suggest this group skate. I believe it's on Thursday night and runs well into October. There's probably some hardcores that go all year. Well, actually, there are some hardcores, but they're kind of like into their speed skating, which is good. I skated with this group for about a year and a half. One day, marshals handed out whistles for skater safety, but unwittingly created a pack of maniacally whistling skaters. A mobile music man blaring Michael Jackson showed up soon after that day. I began to skate alone again. I switched back to skate with bigger wheels, Solomon STS skates, which were not quite as light as hockey skates, but offered the stability of aggressive skates, which really helped with cobblestone and stairs. After skating in aggressive skates for 3 years, the casts were off, and skating got even more fun. I hunted for stairs to roll throughout London and ran out of new ones. Now that I'm in Toronto, I have a whole new set of challenges. I'm back where I've started in hockey skates, and I have so many choices that I am afraid of, but must face. The Rogers Centre stairs and the Eaton Centre downward spiral are just a couple. The uphill challenges in my own neighborhood are enough to stay busy for years. But hey, I have wheels on my feet. I can have it all. My biggest skating dream would be to see the streets lousy with skaters. When I see skaters, I stop everything I'm doing and watch. You can tell a lot about a person's skating history in about 10 seconds. I love seeing other people skate. No two skaters I've skated with rolled the same. A stride is an expression, and the lines we choose a conversation. Then there are the conversations I've had with people because of YouTube. I correspond with a skater from Australia named Marcus, who's rolling stairs, skating all-terrain, rolling gravel in hockey skates. Some of the conversations I've had with him have led to breakthroughs in my own skating. I'm often asked about equipment and wheels, but I am the wrong guy to ask. I fall in love with every pair of skates I have, and wheels to me are temporary. I like to buy packs of wheels in Play It Again Sports because they are cheap. If I was looking for a wide variety of skates and expert advice, I would go to Shop Task. There's one on Queen Street near the beaches. It is skater operated and owned. I walked in and asked about a bolt to put into my Solomon STS skate to get it back on the road for my video, These Shitty Skates. And they not only had the spare part on hand, but they gave it to me. My experiences with independent skate shops are often like this. As far as my skating influences, I look to speed skating and ice hockey for technique. Aggressive skating is fun to watch, but it's a little bit like watching skateboarding to me, or parkour. A lot of rotation, some insane gymnastics. It's very technical and requires a great degree of dedication to specific tricks in a sport rife with talent. Red Bull crashed ice is also something I think is really cool. I only wish they would put together Red Bull crashed streets. I think I know a few people that would be interested. Red Bull, get your act together. Free money. That track you make for Red Bull crashed ice is insane. I know a track at Toronto City Hall you could use right now. Pylons and a camera crew, baby. I'm only saying. Here at City Hall, I've skated the front areas, but this back skate roulade is something I've never seen. Music, please. All amped up from my City Hall skate, I turned west when I should have turned east. Feeling only a little tired, I skated away from home, thinking I had way too much energy to pack it in so early. So I skated west. Once I got as far as Bathurst, I started to hurt, and I was running low on water. I still had about 8 kilometers to skate to get home. The West and Toronto road scene is tolerant. People here are used to bikes and contraptions on the roads. Toronto used to be known as New York run by the Swiss. Now it's more like Detroit run by the Maltese. This city is in disrepair, but holy shit, it's teaching me to skate. I love getting the jump on traffic, so I can maneuver to take up less space. Coasting takes a burst of speed, but can help you and those behind you by giving them room to pass. Streetcars are a real nuisance when you're driving. To the skater, they are an opportunity to stop and chill. If I'm in mid-flow and just can't help myself, I creep and pretend I'm a pedestrian, but only after a full stop. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing too much when I'm skating. Unless I'm stopped, some of the details of the rushing reality are invisible to me. When I skate, I see what I need to see. Traffic in the right-hand lane ahead, streetcar doors closed, lady on curb, oil stains, and a light about to turn green. I remember the streetcar stop is 50 meters ahead, gas cap, sewage drain, long crack, and manhole cover coming. Taxi is dragonflying me. Gotta fly, but try not to scare the beautiful dogs. Okay, is this a real streetcar stop or just a streetcar stopping? It would totally ruin my week if I body checked someone who's just trying to get home from work. I'm at the point in this skate where I've run out of water and I still have 5Ks to go. I now know I've made a mistake. It's possible I may have overestimated myself. Objective me would say, pull over, get some water, and take the streetcar home. A tired skater is a dumb skater. But me, being a very tired skater in reality, decided I was too sweaty for the streetcar. Besides, my skates were already pointed in the right direction. What you'll see now is me trying not to let my flow get interrupted. Stopping and starting is very taxing. In the future, I will continue to produce more long flow skate videos. Instead of one long skate like today's, I will likely break them up into my favorite 2 or 3 minute segments, which represents the average flow you get from one light or traffic obstruction to the next. One of my cameras ran out downtown, so the rest of this skate will be covered by my head cam, which I will soon mount onto a pole for a better skate view. With each stride towards home, small knots grew in the middle of my quads. Throwing in some crossovers and avoiding a deep classic stride helped. In this skate session, I rolled what turned out to be 19.1 kilometers. My future skates will likely all remain between 5 and 10 kilometers, unless I am skating somewhere where I can maintain a full stride and a constant rhythm. I always consider Leslieville the home stretch, but for some reason today, it was moving by very slowly. It seemed like my wheels were too warm, or the road was soft. Something was wrong. If you enjoyed this flow skate form today, please hit the like button or share. There are a lot of sequences I would like to revisit, a little more well-rested, with a little more intensity. If there's a part of Toronto that you've seen today that you would like me to revisit, please leave a note in the comments board, and I will consider giving it a roll. Now that I'm in familiar territory, I've got a second wind, and am merrily doing my curb dance. I'm not sprinting or jumping, I'm simply skating the way I normally would. But today, at this point, it's too much. Due to cramps in both quads, I was forced off the road and then onto a lawn, where I attempted to stretch out my quads without rolling in dog shit. After flopping around like a fish and getting strange looks instead of offers for assistance, I was able to stand again. Always on the verge of cramping up again, I involuntarily had to keep my stride short. Too proud to put my shoes on and take the streetcar 2 kilometers, I made it home and crawled up the stairs. Next time I embark on another monster drop skate, I will bring more water. And next time I will turn east instead of west when it's time to come home, if I'm not having the skate of a lifetime, that is.